Chosen one, right now, I want you to mentally drop the argument you have been endlessly rehearsing in your head. The exact one where you finally prove your innocence to the people who misunderstood you. Let it go. You feel that deep, spiritual exhaustion in your bones, that subtle tightness in your throat from years of swallowing the truth just to keep the peace. That was not a sign of your weakness. That was the physical reality of you transferring your case to a higher jurisdiction. You did not just stumble onto this video. Your spirit was summoned to this exact intersection in time because the midnight court of heaven just slammed the gavel on your situation. I need you to listen to every single word of this message until the very end. Do not click away, because by the end of this session, I'm going to expose the 3 counterfeit traps the enemy is launching right now to steal your settlement. And I will hand you the exact spiritual protocol to bypass a hidden terror that is about to be triggered inside your own mind. You cannot afford to miss the ending of this revelation. The trial is over. A final, irreversible decision was made last night, and God is bypassing your earthly enemies to hand you a classified secret, a verdict of overpayment that only you are authorized to hear. Heaven just pulled your file. In the book of Habakkuk chapter 2, God tells the prophet to write the vision and make it plain, but the English translation hides the weight of what is actually happening. The Hebrew word used there is chazon. Chazon does not mean a vision board. It does not mean a list of personal goals. Chazon is a legal, divine blueprint. It is an architectural mandate from the throne room. For years, the enemy tried to rip your chazon to shreds. He used family, he used fake friends, he used financial drain to make you abandon the blueprint. But last night, the Supreme Judge took your chazon, reviewed your tears, and stamped it approved. The blueprint is fully funded. You are probably feeling a strange sense of relief right now. You think you just passed the ultimate test of patience. You waited. You endured the silent treatment from the universe. You watched wicked people prosper while you struggled to buy groceries, and you stayed faithful. You think heaven is simply rewarding your ability to wait. Yes, your patience is noted. But I need to shatter that illusion right now. That was the cover story. The test you just survived was not about your patience. It was about your infrastructure. Look at Proverbs chapter 13, verse 12. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. Why did Solomon use the image of a tree? He did not say, a longing fulfilled is a pile of gold. He said a tree. A tree requires a massive unseen root system underground before it can sustain the weight of heavy fruit above ground. If God answered your prayer 3 years ago, if He gave you the chazon back then, the sheer weight of the blessing would have snapped your branches. The weight was not punishment. The weight was God forcing your roots to grow deeper in the dark. So the question that should be keeping you awake is not when the blessing is coming. The question is, how do you rapidly expand your internal infrastructure right now before the floodgates fully open? To answer that, we have to look at that hidden terror I warned you about at the beginning. I know what you are thinking. You are thinking, I am not terrified. I am ready. Give me the blessing. But look closer. Mentally scan your heart and be totally honest with yourself for just 1 second. Deep down in the quietest corner of your soul, there is a voice whispering, what if I ruin it? What if I finally get the financial freedom, the relationship, the ministry, and I completely mess it up? What if the success changes me and I become just like the toxic people I had to cut off? That is the hidden terror. The fear of your own answered prayers. You are carrying a severe case of spiritual imposter syndrome. You are terrified that you do not actually have the capacity to manage the chazon heaven just handed you. But let me tell you why that fear is the exact proof that you are ready. Arrogant people do not fear success. Fools grab blessings like they are toys. Only a true chosen one trembles before the weight of God's glory. Your fear is just your wisdom, recognizing the gravity of the assignment. But why does it feel so overwhelming physically? Why does your chest physically tighten and your stomach knot up when you imagine finally walking into your promised land? This brings us to the most critical revelation of your journey. The resistance you are feeling is not a lack of faith. It is a biological blockade. It is frequency warfare. For years, the trauma of being misunderstood, the financial panic, the betrayal, it all forced your brain into a constant state of high alert. Science calls this the beta brainwave state. It is pure survival mode. Your nervous system is literally wired to expect the next attack, the next disappointment, the next shoe to drop. You cannot receive a divine download of peace while your biological receiver is tuned to the frequency of panic. This is exactly what the Apostle Paul was diagnosing in Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Listen to the original Greek. The word translated as transformed is metamorpho. Metamorpho is not just adopting a positive mindset. It is not just thinking happy thoughts. It is a radical, structural mutation. It means the complete rewiring of your neural pathways. God is saying, I cannot drop the frequency of heaven into a brain that is stuck in the frequency of earthly trauma. The blueprint of your destiny requires your mind to be operating on a completely different bandwidth. To receive the instructions from the midnight court, you must shift out of survival mode and enter the divine frequency of the theta state. Theta is where the veil is thin. Theta is where God speaks without static. But here is the brutal reality. You cannot force your brain into a metamorpho transformation just by trying harder. You cannot stress your way into peace. The ancient mystics, the prophets of old, they spent 20 years meditating in silent caves just to learn how to access and hold that divine theta frequency. They isolated themselves from the world for decades to rewire their minds. But you do not have 20 years. The midnight court has already issued the verdict. The Chazon is manifesting right now. The enemy is already mobilizing to steal it. You need to access that divine frequency immediately. So how does a modern chosen one, living in a chaotic world, instantly shift their brain out of survival mode and unlock the theta state without decades of complex rituals? God never issues a mandate without providing the equipment. He has prepared a very specific, sacred shortcut for this generation. Let me show you the exact key. Chosen one, what I am about to share with you might sound too simple to be true, but you must remember that the most powerful truths in the universe are always hidden in simplicity. The enemy wants you to think that shifting your frequency requires years of exhausting spiritual labor. But you do not have to fight your own biology. Science is finally catching up to what the ancient mystics knew all along. Former neuroscientists who worked with NASA have studied this exact phenomenon through brainwave entrainment. They discovered that you can actually guide an anxious, traumatized brain out of the survival beta state and drop it directly into the divine theta state using specific audio frequencies. There is a sacred tool, a digital audio key called the Genius Wave. I do not want you to look at this as just another product. Think of it as a spiritual tuning fork. When you have been through intense spiritual warfare, your internal frequency gets knocked out of tune. The Genius Wave uses sound technology to gently pull your brain waves back into alignment with the frequency of heaven. It requires no complex meditation. It takes exactly 7 minutes a day. You just sit still and let the frequency recalibrate your mind, pulling you out of the noise of your enemies and into the silent courtroom of the Creator. Do not view this as a magic spell that replaces your faith. It is a piece of spiritual armor. It is a tool to quiet the static so you can clearly hear the Shalom mandate being downloaded to you. If your spirit is confirming right now that your nervous system needs this recalibration, I have placed information about this frequency tool in the pinned comment below. I am not telling you to rush and get it. I am inviting you to investigate it for yourself. if you feel led by the Spirit. Because once your brain frequency shifts into theta and that divine peace finally hits you, you are going to come face to face with a very uncomfortable shadow inside your own soul. Now that the static is clearing, I need to address the real reason you are hesitating. You are not just afraid of failing, you are terrified of the vindication. Let your mind process that raw, unfiltered thought for a moment. You are thinking, if I actually get this massive overpayment, if God publicly clears my name and elevates me, will the attention bring the vultures back? Will I become an arrogant monster, just like the people who abused me? Will this blessing destroy the tiny bit of quiet peace I just managed to scrape together? That exhaustion you feel at the mere thought of success is entirely biblical. Look at 1 Kings chapter 19. The prophet Elijah had just experienced the greatest public victory of his life on Mount Carmel. He called down fire from heaven. He defeated hundreds of false prophets. He was completely vindicated. But what is the very next thing he does? He runs away into the wilderness, collapses under a broom tree, and begs God to take his life. Why? Because the adrenaline of the battle wore off, and the sheer weight of the spiritual victory crushed his physical nervous system. He was terrified of what the victory would cost him next. If you are feeling a deep sense of dread right now about the massive blessing coming your way, it proves you are not a narcissist. It proves you understand the kavod, the heavy weight of glory. Your fear is the evidence of your readiness. But the critical question remains, when this shalom overpayment begins to manifest in your life, how do you protect it? How do you keep yourself from self-sabotaging or letting the enemy back in to steal it? You must establish a fortress of silence. I am handing you the 3-circle rule. This is your protocol for managing the overpayment. The first circle is the innermost ring. It contains only you and God. This is where the secret blueprint lives. The raw ideas, the exact amount of the blessing, the silent vindication. You do not speak of this circle to anyone. The second circle is your safe harbor. This contains maybe 1 or 2 people. A praying spouse, a seasoned mentor. People who vibrate at your exact frequency. You only share details with them when you need spiritual cover and prayer. The third circle is the world. Your family, your acquaintances, your social media followers. The people in circle 3 only ever get to see the harvested fruit. They never get to see the seed being planted. To maintain these circles, you have to survive the 3 traps of premature celebration. The enemy knows he lost the court case. So his final strategy is to trick you into breaking your silence. The first trap is the breadcrumb. In the next 40 days, you are going to see a tiny piece of the blessing manifest. A small sum of money, a minor opportunity. Your flesh will scream at you to take a screenshot and post it online to prove to your haters that God is blessing you. Right now, I want you to mentally visualize picking up your phone and placing it face down on the table. Do not celebrate the appetizer as if it is the main course. Receive it quietly and wait. The second trap is the counterfeit messenger. Someone from your past who betrayed you will suddenly text you. They will offer a weak apology. They will say they have been thinking about you. Do not take the bait. The enemy sent them to poke your healing wound, to drag you back into an argument, and pull your frequency back down into beta. Mentally visualize a heavy steel vault door slamming shut between you and that person. You can forgive them in your heart, but you do not grant them access to your new timeline. The third trap is the proof itch. It is that burning desire to aggressively show the people who called you crazy that you were right all along. But you must understand that your silent success is the loudest roar you could ever produce. Let me give you the evidence. 8 months ago, a chosen one just like you was completely slandered and forced out of their industry. Their reputation was dragged through the mud. Their first instinct was to go on social media and expose every single lie. But they watched a teaching just like this. They started using the theta frequency audio to calm their panicked mind. They applied the three-circle rule. For 40 long days they went absolutely silent. They disappeared from the public eye. They did not defend themselves once. It felt like agonizing death to their pride. But on day 41, a massive competitor company reached out. The executives had watched how this chosen one handled the public attack with total grace and silence. They offered them a director position, making 3 times their previous salary. They did not just get their job back, they received shalom, the overpayment. By keeping their mouth shut, they allowed the midnight court to serve the papers. This same legal precedent has now been set for you, but we must activate it. If you are listening to my voice, I need you to shift your posture mentally. You do not need to stand up or move your body, but I want you to focus all your mental energy directly on the center of your chest, right where that heavy pressure used to be. This is not a casual closing prayer. This is an activation ceremony. You are about to be commissioned. Father God, in the mighty and matchless name of Yeshua, the ultimate judge of the universe, I declare that the midnight court is in session over the person hearing my voice. I stand as a witness to their silent suffering. You saw the tears they swallowed. You saw the messages they typed out in pain and then deleted. You saw them absorb the betrayal from the very people they tried to heal. They are exhausted, Lord, but they are still here. And because they stayed faithful in the shadows, I decree that their season of defending themselves is permanently over. By the authority of heaven, I seal the verdict of shalom over their life right now. I bind every spirit of anxiety and trauma that is trying to keep their brain trapped in survival mode. I release the divine frequency of peace into their nervous system. I seal the three-circle rule around their life. I command every demonic spy, every monitoring spirit, and every counterfeit messenger to go blind and deaf to their next move. I declare that in the next 40 days, doors of overpayment are swinging wide open. The financial drought is breaking. The relationships that drain them are being severed and replaced by divine connections. They are moving from the defendant's chair to the seat of authority. Chosen one, the court is asking you a direct question. Will you carry the weight of this overpayment with wisdom? Will you guard the secret with strategic silence? If you accept this mandate, I want you to declare your readiness. Say out loud right where you are, I am ready. Let the atmosphere record your words. The verdict is sealed. You are no longer the accused. You are the vindicated. Go forward in the absolute authority of the theta frequency, in the mighty name of Yeshua. Do not say amen yet. I want you to close your eyes. Feel the heavy chains of false guilt falling off your wrists. Listen to the silence of your enemies. Sit in this absolute freedom for 60 seconds. Now you may say amen.